متأكد إنه الكل رجع على المحاضرة يعني قبل ما نرجع. All right, I think now recording is working. I hope everybody would be able to join. Okay. Let's go back to quickly to recap on what we have said, and we didn't say much. We didn't elaborate on lots of things because you don't have the books with you. So we started with the definition of semantics, and we gave the common and simplistic definition of semantics, and we said it is the study of meaning in language. So what course are you taking? I'm taking semantics, somebody, and then the follow-up question, what is semantics? And you say semantics is the study of meaning in language. And we identify semantics as a branch of linguistics that deals with the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences, and probably units of language larger than a sentence. And then we asked about meaning, and we said, what is meaning? And we made a distinction between two types of meaning. Dictionary meaning, and we said this is very important because to know a language, you need to know what the words, this is part of your knowledge of language, is to know what words in the language mean. And in asking this question, we're really asking about, first of all, the hardcore meaning of words. And the hardcore meaning of words is what you find listed in dictionaries. Okay, and that's the meaning, actually, that's the part of meaning that we will focus on most of the time, because this is what is handy to us. Okay, and the second type of meaning is, or has to do with the speaker's intention. Okay, and we said there is a big difference between what the word actually means and what the speaker intends the word to mean. And often you say things and people get offended, or they don't like what you said, and you say, no, this is not what I meant. This is not what I meant. You try to explain this, okay? Because that person probably took the word literally, and you did not mean the literal meaning. You want to explain your intentions, okay? Often we come into this kind of misunderstanding, okay? Right? I mean, when you're talking with your friends, sometimes misunderstanding happens, and you say, no, this is not what I meant. This is not what I meant. Note that by saying this is not what I meant, you're not talking about dictionary meaning, you're talking about your intentions. You're talking about your intentions. All right. So that's the other type of meaning that we are talking about, and it is a type of meaning that cannot be found in dictionaries. And that's what makes semantics sometimes a difficult subject to understand, because we're not native speakers of the language. So how are we going to capture native speakers' intentions? Okay, we're not familiar with that. We're not raised in the environment where English language is spoken, because speakers' intention are something intuitive, something that the native speakers know more than anybody else. Okay, that's what makes semantics a difficult subject, and that what makes meaning sometimes hard to capture, because dictionary meaning is available. You can look it up in a dictionary, but speaker's intention are not easy to capture, not easy to grasp. Okay, that's why they always tell us, I mean, when you study, they will tell you that native speakers of the language has the advantage in a class of semantics over non-native speakers, because they have a native intuition which non-native speakers do not have. Okay, and it has to do with speaker meaning. And by talking about what speaker meaning is, we're not talking about paraphrasing. We're not talking about giving the equivalent of, because that's dictionary meaning. That's paraphrasing. The equivalent of what a certain word or phrase means or sentence means, that is still dictionary meaning. Or we are looking for what the speaker intends for this word or phrase or sentence to mean. And we gave the example of the sign that you find on somebody's door, and you have an appointment with that somebody. We said that somebody probably is a physician, a doctor. And normally doctors like their patients to stick to their appointments, especially dentists, for example, because they like meet people on certain blocks of time. So they give you an appointment at 11, they give somebody an appointment at 11:30 or 11:45, and if you're late, they don't like that. All right, so I'll be back later. You find this sign, and we said, you asked, what does this person, this doctor, means by saying, what does he mean by saying I'll be back later? And somebody or the secretary replies, it means I'll return after some time. Well, thank you. I'm not really interested in what the sentence literally means, because I know the language. I know the literal meaning. I know the meanings of the individual words. So I don't want you to paraphrase that for me. Okay? ما بدي يعني فسر الماء بالماء. يعني I'm not looking for that. Well, then what are you looking for? I'm looking for what this doctor, this physician, this dentist mean by saying this sentence. Does he mean that he'll come back today? And if he's gonna come back, how long will it take him to come back? Okay, or he has business to attend to that will prevent that person from coming back today. or maybe I'll come back in the afternoon because I don't have time to wait. Suppose that you are an employee and you have taken a 2 hours leave, okay, and the doctor would come back like in 5 hours time. Then you cannot wait for 5 hours. You have to go back to your work. Otherwise, you will be held responsible for being late, okay? So that's the meaning I'm looking for. I was not looking for you to give me the equivalent meaning of I'll be back later. Thank you. I know English and I know what the equivalent of I'll be back later means. All right. And we said, when we talk about dictionary meaning, we said that a dictionary is a book that contains a list of the meanings of words and what words mean. But we will not be able to find a dictionary that capture what speakers mean. You will not find that. Okay, so far, have we said anything else other than this?
No, that's it.
Okay. شو يا بيان؟
I just want to say, from what we said before, the definition of semantics, like a relationship between words and how we draw meaning from those words to understand and to know how to connect with other without misunderstanding.
No, but that's not okay. We have to be careful, man. I didn't say that is the definition of semantics.
Yeah, okay.
We said semantics is the study of meaning in language. It's as simple as this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact that we have different types of meaning, okay, as we have made a distinction between what words mean and what speakers mean, okay, is something different than the definition of semantics. So we cannot talk about a definition of semantics by referring to speaker meaning. No, okay? This is now going into the details of what semantics does, or what do we do with semantics, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
All right, so when you're asked what is semantics, simply you say semantics is the study of meaning, okay? Now, and we said it's a branch of linguistics that deals with the meanings of words, phrases, and sentences. Now then we move to something else, something we have taken from the definition itself. When we said semantics is the study of meaning, then we said we jump to another question, which is what is meaning? Okay, and we said meanings, okay, are carried by words, but they are affected by speakers as well. Okay, meanings are carried by words. We said words have all right. Okay, so yeah, so the speaker as well is what affects the meanings of words, because the meanings that word carry can be found in dictionaries. That's not problematic for us. But what is problematic is speaker as well. All right, or speaker's intention. Okay, so always the word mean and means and meant and what I meant. When you say always what I meant, you're talking about your intention. Because there is a difference between what you took the words to mean and what the words really by themselves mean are two different things. Okay, so when someone says, what do you exactly mean? You say, well, what I meant is, okay, not the way you understand this or not the way you understood this. All right, so yeah, maybe I understood the words by equating them with what is equivalent to these words. Okay, but then you're not talking about the equivalent meaning of words, but you're talking about your intention, your speaker meaning. Okay, what the speaker intends to convey when he or she uses a piece of language. Okay. Yeah, and we said this is the problematic part of the language. Speaker meaning is what a speaker means when he uses a piece of language. Whereas word meaning or phrase meaning is what a sentence or a word means what it counts as the equivalent of in the language concerned. What it counts as the equivalent of, okay? That when you open the dictionary and you look up the word semantics, you find other words, okay? And these words are the equivalent words, okay? That's what you find in dictionaries. There is a dialogue in the book. I'll quickly read it, but we'll read it together when we meet next time. But let me just quickly go over parts of this. There is a conversation between two people at a bus stop, A and B, and the first person, when they met, I mean, at the bus stop, the first person said, "Nice day." And the other said, "Yes, a bit warmer than yesterday, isn't it?" "That's right. One day fine, the next cooler." "I expect it might get cooler again tomorrow." "Maybe. You never know what to expect, do you?" "No. Have you been away on holiday?" "Yes, we went to Spain." "Did you?" "We're going to France next month." "Oh, are you? That'll be nice for the family." "Do you speak French?" "Sally's quite good at it, and we hope Martin will improve." "I expect he will. I do hope you have a good time there." Okay. Let's see where I stopped. Okay. Thank you. All right. Wait a minute. I expect he will. I do hope you have a good time. Thank you. By the way, has the 42 bus gone by yet? It seems to be late. No, I have been here since 8 o'clock and I haven't seen it. Good. I don't want to be late for work. What time is it now? 25 past 8. Okay, this is a conversation between two people who met at a bus stop. They don't know each other. And look how they started the conversation. They started the conversation by talking about
the weather.
the weather. And this is typical of especially the British people. Okay? Typical that they start talking about the weather. And that's why when speaker A said, "Nice day," well, when people meet at a certain place, they need to create an atmosphere of peace. Okay? because probably they're gonna be waiting in the same place for a long time and they wanna feel comfortable looking at one another. So the best way to do this is to break, as they say, the tip of the iceberg and start talking about the weather. That's when he said, nice day. And speaker B said, yes, a bit warmer than yesterday, isn't it? Speaker A goes back to say, that's right. One day fine, the next day cooler. And speaker B says, I expect it might be, or it might get cooler again tomorrow. And then he says, speaker A, maybe, you never know what to expect, do you? All right. All of this is talking about the weather, right? All of these words have meaning. They have dictionary meaning, right? They have dictionary meaning. Nice, they know what nice, you can look it up. Day, a bit warmer than yesterday. That's, but is there anything in these sentences that the other speaker doesn't know? When speaker A says nice day, doesn't speaker B know that it's a nice day? Okay, when we meet outside and I say to you, nice day today, don't you know it's a nice day today?
Well, I know, but it's a way to start a conversation.
Yeah, but it's something that's already known to you, right?
Yes.
And when I say it's a bit warmer than yesterday, don't you already know this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and I expect it might get cooler again tomorrow. Well, this is typical of a British or Britain or the weather in Britain, because one day it's sunny, the other day it's cloudy, one day it's warm, the other day it's cool, and so on. And maybe you never know what to expect, do you? Well, that's typical of British or typical of the weather in Britain, okay? So you see, although these sentences, these phrases, if you like, have meaning, they do have dictionary meaning, right? But do they tell anything new? Do they tell anything new? And the answer is
No.
no, they don't. Speaker A is not giving B any new information. And speaker B, on the other hand, is not giving speaker A any new information. So even though words and phrases and sentences have meaning, but they can be uninformative. They can be uninformative. So just because words have meaning, it doesn't mean they are informative in every situation we use them. Like the case at the bus stop. Because people wait much longer at a bus stop than any other place. When people meet in an elevator, for example, they don't talk to one another. Probably they look down or they look up, right? They try to avoid eye contact because the meeting is very short. It takes seconds only, right? Less than a minute.
Yes.
That's why people do not look at one another in the eye. People, of course, who do not know each other. We're not talking about friends, because friends, when they get together in the elevator, they can talk. But when people get together in an elevator and they don't know one another, don't you notice that they either look down or they look up at the sign where the elevator is? Is it in the second, third, fourth, 10th floor? But they avoid looking at one another, simply because it's a short period of time and they want to avoid any, problem that may result out of looking at one another, because people are careful, cautious not to, be in trouble with one another by any means. So that's why they avoid looking at one another in an elevator. But when they meet at a bus stop, they're gonna be there for a long time. And if it's raining or something, they will be under the station where the people wait for buses to pass by. And to avoid this fear of one another, this feeling of discomfort, they initiate a conversation for socializing. So they say meaningless things. Meaningless in the sense that they do not provide new information. If you take them by themselves and you look them up in dictionaries, they do have meaning. But as far as giving new information, they do not provide any new information. And even when they move to a topic where they provide new information, probably you are not interested in this because you're not going to see this person again, probably. Especially in big cities, people rarely meet at a bus stop. Okay, so why talk to me about my family or your family? Well, just they want to keep the wheel running, as they say. They want to keep the wheel running. So after finishing the talk about the weather, they don't want to stop there. They want to keep the conversation going on. So that person started to talk about his vacation. And so he said, have you been away on holiday? And he said, yes, we went to Spain. And then he said, did you? Did you? Not in the sense that, are you serious? Are you telling the truth? No, no. This is just because there is a follow-up something. We're going to France next month, okay? Yes, all of this information about the family and going to France, and Sheila speaks French and Martin doesn't, and things like that. Yes, it has a new information, but this is not information of interest to either party. And then comes the information that one person is looking for. And that's when he said, by the way, has the 42 bus gone by yet? It seems to be late. Okay. And he said, no, I have been here since 8 o'clock and I haven't seen it. Good. I don't want to be late for work. What time is it now? 25 past 8. Okay. This is informative. This is of interest to one of the speakers because he was looking for the 42 bus and doesn't want to be late for work. So that's the end come of the conversation, okay? To know this piece of information about whether the 42 bus has gone by yet or no, okay? And then when you get the book, you will read another piece of conversation between a husband and his wife, and many of the expressions used in this conversation at the bus stop were used in the exchange between the husband and wife. And we will see if they have the same meaning, or speakers use them with the intention to convey the same meaning or not. These two examples will illustrate to us the difference between speaker meaning and dictionary meaning, or literal meaning, if you want to call it literal. هو المعنى الحرفي. By literal meaning, we mean dictionary meaning. So hopefully, by Thursday, everyone will have the book. And as I said, having the book means you have to have it in front of you before we start class, because we're going to be reading from the book. We'll be doing exercise and explanations from the book. So Thursday, I expect everyone to have the book. And then each unit in the book has exercises, which I will be asking you to do some as homework assignment. Okay, so Thursday, the book is available. Thursday, everybody should have the book ready so we can read together. And by reading together, we can understand things better. Okay, so until Thursday, have a nice day. يعطيكم العافية. إلى اللقاء.
الله يعافيك. بالعافية دكتور.
اوكي، اهلين، هلا، مع السلامة.